This evening, first, a life sentence in all but name. A West Coast Berbice man is handed 35 years behind bars for the brutal 2021 murder of his own mother, as the High Court delivers a strong message on domestic violence and family protection. Plus, cleaning up the country. Government moves to identify modern sanitary landfill sites nationwide, part of a wider plan to overhaul waste management, protect communities, and create a cleaner, more orderly Guyana. Also opening the Hinterland. A newly upgraded concrete airstrip at Paramakatoi promises safer travel, lower costs, and new economic opportunities, as nearly $800 million in investment boosts connectivity in Region 8. Meanwhile, more schools, more access. 80 new schools set to open by early 2026, with Bamia Primary School already welcoming students, expanding classrooms, and easing overcrowding across multiple regions. And in the region, tensions rise in the Caribbean as US President Donald Trump warns Cuba could collapse without Venezuela oil, raising fresh concerns over fuel shortages and regional stability. Those stories and more coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 7th, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, President Dr. Mohamed Irfanali and United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke by phone on Tuesday to discuss recent developments in Venezuela and other matters of mutual importance across the Western Hemisphere. During the conversation, President Ali commended U.S. leadership and reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to working closely with the United States, which he described as a strategic regional security ally. President Ali emphasized Guyana's support for collective efforts to tackle transnational crime, including drug and gold smuggling and narco-terrorism. He also reiterated the country's respect for the rule of law, free and fair elections, democratic norms, and the pursuit of peace and prosperity throughout the region. Secretary Rubio reaffirmed continued U.S. support and partnership with Guyana, particularly in defending its sovereignty and territorial integrity amid regional challenges. The leaders emphasized their shared commitment to strengthening cooperation on regional security, democratic governance, and combating transnational crime. The decision underscores the importance of sustained collaboration between Guyana and the United States as they work together to address common challenges and promote peace, stability, and prosperity across the Western Hemisphere. In other news, justice has been served in the 2021 Berbice murder case. A West Berbice man has been sentenced to 35 years imprisonment for the brutal murder of his mother in 2021, following sentencing proceedings at the Berbice High Court on Tuesday. Dionarine Duku, also known as Dinesh, appeared before Justice Sandal Kissoon, who imposed a sentence after a 12-member jury found him guilty during the October-December 2025 criminal assize. The victim was identified as 64-year-old Tushwati Jaglal, also called Babu, who was killed between June 30th and July 1st, 2021 at her home in Lot 4, Number 3 Village, West Coast Berbice. Evidence presented at the trial revealed that Duku, who lived with his mother and two young children, had a history of alcohol abuse and frequently became violent when confronted about his drinking. On the night of the incident, he reportedly attacked Jaglal with a cutlass, inflicting fatal chop injuries. In sentencing, Justice Kissoon noted that while murder carries a maximum penalty of death under Guyanese law, courts must assess each case based on its seriousness. He identified several aggravating factors, including the viciousness of the attack, the familiar relationship between offender and victim, and the victim's vulnerability, stating that such crimes undermine the foundation of family and social protection. Although the nearly 4 years Duku spent on remand were considered by the court, Justice Kissoon ruled that the mitigating factors did not outweigh the gravity of the offense. Moving on, the government of Guyana is exploring sites across the country to establish modern sanitary landfill sites as part of a broader strategy to address long-standing challenges in garbage disposal and waste management. Minister of Public Works Bishop Edgehill said waste management and environmental protection remain key priorities for creating a cleaner, more sustainable living environment for citizens. He explained that the development of sanitary landfills will enable waste to be managed more strategically and in a more environmentally friendly manner. To support the initiative, the government plans to invest in supporting infrastructure, including roads and facilities to accommodate heavy-duty garbage trucks and ensure efficient access to landfill sites nationwide. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan also established a special cabinet-level team to advance the initiative. The team includes the Minister of Public Works, Housing, Local Government and Regional Development, Tourism, as well as the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. Minister Edghill said the government is assessing locations across all regions, not only for landfill development, but also for community enhancement projects, such as improving recreational spaces. He noted that the administration is also considering designated areas for heavy-duty truck parking and relocating noisy industrial activities, including spray painting body shops away from residential communities. The minister stressed that the government does not intend to restrict economic activity, but rather to create a more orderly and environmentally sound framework that supports business growth. He added that the available land could be rehabilitated or further developed inland for landfill operations, while community spaces and reserves could benefit from targeted enhancement work. Stick around when we return. 18 new schools to be commissioned in early 2026, Education Minister. An upgraded Paramakatoi airstrip commissioned to boost hinterland connectivity and development.
Just chocolates, bounce into flavor. Ping pong, everybody want some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong, bounce into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts, delicious top class A plus. Ping pong, from Charles Chocolates, bounce into flavor.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 5, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE, if you will be 18 years or older by December 31, 2025, and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will be posting the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change or correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. All GCOM registration offices will open Mondays to Fridays from 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan on Monday commissioned the newly upgraded Paramakatoi airstrip, marking a major infrastructure milestone for the hinterland community and surrounding villages. Minister of Public Works Bishop Edgehill joined the head of state at the commissioning ceremony. The upgraded concrete airstrip, designed with a 20-year lifespan, was constructed by International Import and Supplies and completed within 3 months at a cost of approximately $800 million. Officials says the improved airstrip is expected to significantly enhance connectivity, reduce travel costs for passengers and goods, and stimulate economic activity, including tourism, across Paramakatoi and its satellite communities. Minister Edgehill described the project as evidence that commitments made through the National Two-Shall Council are translated into action, noting that Amerindian leaders' priorities are being addressed through tangible developments.
We are commissioning this new airstrip, 2,500 feet by 50 feet wide, done with rigid pavement concrete. We engage people from the community during the life of this project. Close to 50 plus men and women were employed, and you did this under the supervision of the contractor, working every day to make sure you get the best. What is happening here today is because we listened and we responded.
A son of the soil, Ovid Williams from Paramakatoi Village, Region 8, lauded the upgrades made through the inclusion of residents.
We are so grateful that of the enhancement of the runway, and now it's almost like an all-weather runway. Now that we have reached this stage, we are grateful for it, so that we don't have to go to other villages like Kato, which was 9.5 miles walking from here, and carrying people in hammock. Now they can jump into the plane here and be escorted for better medical treatment in Georgetown.
In addition to the airstrip, residents are now benefiting from 2 kilometers of upgraded road infrastructure. The road works were carried out by the Special Project Unit of the Ministry of Public Works and also employed 50 villagers. The combined airstrip and road works amounted to approximately $799 million, underscoring continued investment in hinterland development, improved transportation, and inclusive economic growth. In other news, the Ministry of Education has announced that 80 new schools are slated for commissioning by the end of the first quarter of 2026, as the government continues its push to expand access to quality education nationwide. The Education Minister said the commissioning process is already underway, with several of the new facilities expected to become operational in the coming weeks. In some instances, students will begin occupying the schools ahead of formal commissioning to ensure that learning continues without disruption. The new schools are spread across multiple regions, including 8 schools in Region 9, 2 in Region 1, 2 in Region 10, as well as others in additional areas, aimed at improving access to education and easing overcrowding in existing institutions. The Ministry of Education said the initiative reflects a commitment to providing modern, safe, and conducive learning environments while promoting equitable access to education for students across Guyana. Additionally, the ministry on Monday officially completed and opened the Bamia Primary School in Region 10. The modern purpose-built facility is designed to serve students from Bamia and surrounding communities, offering spacious classrooms, administrative offices, sanitary facilities, and supporting infrastructure to improve teaching and learning outcomes. Education officials noted that the opening of the new schools represents a significant step towards strengthening the education sector and supporting improved academic outcomes nationwide. Don't go away after the break. Colombia vows to defend its sovereignty amid Trump's military threats, and European leaders hit back at Trump's US takeover designs on Greenland.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from modern optical services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
From chocolates, Ping pong, everybody want some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong bongs into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts. Delicious top class A plus ping pong. Ping pong, from chocolates, bongs into flavor.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing January 5, 2026 to produce an official list of electors OLE if you will be 18 years or older by December 31, 2025 and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM will be posting the preliminary list of electors PLE in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact the GCOM on 2250-27829 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Kittins. Tonight, the US introduces refundable visa bonds for travelers from Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and Cuba. Trump warns Cuba could collapse without Venezuelan oil. Colombia vows to resist US threats, and Washington floats military force over Greenland. We begin with the new visa rules. The United States will require travelers from Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and Cuba to post refundable bonds from January 21, 2026 under a pilot program targeting visa overstays. Bonds of up to $5,000 US to $15,000 US will be applied to approved B1 and B2 visitor, which will be refundable upon timely departure. Cuba's economy relies heavily on oil supply from Venezuela, and any disruption to those shipments could worsen the island's fuel shortages. US President Donald Trump has claimed Cuba is ready to fall without Venezuela's support, arguing that Havana cannot survive economically if the oil flow is cut. Al Jazeera's Hamza Mohammed reports.
In Havana, fear mixes with a hard reality. Residents worry that hard lives are about to get even more difficult.
I don't want to be pessimistic, but I am realistic. 2026 is going to be tough, very tough, but we have to keep fighting.
For decades, Cuba has endured US sanctions and trade embargo. But Venezuela's oil, which meets around half of Cuba's current energy shortfall, has helped keep the lights on. That supply is now in doubt. Many Cubans see Washington tightening the screws.
Between Trump and Marco Rubio, it has always been about the country's economy. The blockade we've had for who knows how many years, more than 60 years, so they are not going to rest.
Cuba's economy is in deep trouble. Tourism is in decline. And protests, once unthinkable, have erupted in recent years. Analysts warn losing Venezuela's support could push the island into its deepest crisis yet, unless allies come to the rescue.
No hay duda que para Cuba es un peligro There is no doubt that the lack of Venezuelan support is a danger and a threat to Cuba. There is confirmed information that a Chinese envoy has been in Havana and also on a Russian position.
Cuba used to send health workers and security personnel to Venezuela in exchange for support. But dozens of Cuban security officers were killed in the US operation. For ordinary Cubans, there is uncertainty and a feeling that another storm is coming. Once again, survival may depend on who steps in next. Hamza Mohammed, Al Jazeera.
Colombia's leaders say they're ready to defend the country in the event of a US invasion. On Sunday, the US president threatened Bogota with military action similar to the raid carried out in Venezuela. But Colombian foreign ministers say potential aggression would be met with force. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports.
After capturing and detaining the Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, President Trump's been musing on who's next, and his gaze turned almost immediately onto the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro.
He's making cocaine, they're sending it into the United States, so he does have to watch his ass.
He's even talked about a military operation. On Tuesday, the response from the Colombian foreign minister.
He's the legitimate president, the head of the security forces and of the state, and therefore any move against our president is an offence to our country.
So why is Trump talking about Gustavo Petro?
He's on the left, he's sparred with Trump before, and crucially, he's in what Trump regards as the United States' rightful zone of interest, Latin America.
Trump's repeatedly accused him of trafficking cocaine to the US with no evidence.
Since Maduro's capture, Colombia has deployed 30,000 troops to its border here with Venezuela. They're here to stop any violence from armed cross-border groups who are unhappy with the US attack and to watch out for any influx of Venezuelan refugees. But they're also on alert for any US attack.
The foreign minister was clear on what happens then.
The defence of our sovereignty is paramount. For that purpose, we have a very capable, very well-prepared army, an army under the command of the head of state, President Gustavo Petro, who would have to defend our population should such a situation arise.
It's not just Colombia that Trump's been casually threatening. He's mentioned Mexico, who wants to go in after drug cartels. His administration's looking at long-term enemy Cuba too.
Yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
This is a president who's come to believe in the US and its political and economic objectives being dominant in Latin America.
But Colombia isn't Venezuela. It's got a democratic government and there aren't widespread doubts about its president's legitimacy. Any attack here would be much harder to justify. Given recent events, that doesn't mean that the government here isn't taking it seriously. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Cúcuta, Colombia.
The White House is threatening to use military force to obtain Greenland, which has repeatedly said it does not want to be a part of the United States. European leaders have rejected Donald Trump's renewed push for a possible US takeover of Greenland. Al Jazeera's Charlie Angelo reports.
Greenland, isolated, sparsely populated, mineral-rich and strategically critical. An Arctic territory guarding key North Atlantic routes and the focus of growing tension between Europe and the United States. Donald Trump says he wants Greenland for security, pointing to Russian and Chinese activity in the Arctic. But his repeated comments that the United States could buy or just take it over are triggering increasing alarm in Europe, with Denmark warning a move on Greenland would mean the end of NATO.
I believe that the American president should be taken seriously when he says he wants Greenland. But I also want to make clear that if the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops.
European leaders meeting in Paris to discuss Ukraine have rallied to her support, feeling the need to remind Trump that Greenland is one of them, not up for grabs. In a joint statement, they said, Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland and them only to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland.
Here at the Danish Embassy in London, the fear goes beyond Greenland itself. European governments fear that even rhetorical threats against a fellow NATO ally could risk weakening the alliance at a time of heightened global instability.
Leaders say they are open to dialogue, even hoping they have misunderstood Trump's threats.
I would like it to be clear in Washington that any attempts to break up or undermine the essence of NATO, the North Atlantic Alliance, will probably not be accepted in any European country.
Greenland hosts a key US missile warning base and holds rare earth minerals, both of interest to the US. But under international law, it also has the right to self-determination. For now, Europe is presenting a united front defending this island with words. Whether that unity is tested further may depend on what comes next from Washington. Charlie Angela, Al Jazeera, London.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day forecast. And that's it to the 2 headline news for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.